Hey there, men. Happy Truck Talk Thursday to you. Mike Yarbrough here from the Wolf and Iron Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, I welcome you. This is something unique, I believe, in the space of manly podcast. I'm actually in my truck talking to you guys kind of off the cuff about whatever's on my mind. And the Wolf and Iron Podcast itself is rather unique. I've had several people email me as of late and say that there's just something different about the Wolf and Iron Podcast. It's different than the other podcasts that I listen to. Even though they're great, a lot of good other podcasts out there, there's just something unique about what's happening here, and it's really helping their day. So look, I'm glad you guys are connecting with the podcast, and if you want to connect with the men of Wolf and Iron, you can do that by heading over to wolfandiron.com/thegroup. That'll take you over to our free Facebook page and Facebook group, and you can actually answer a few questions there. We don't let just anyone in. Make sure you answer the questions, and so that you can become part of the group and start interacting over there. All right, fellas, so today I wanted to talk about convictions versus cravings. And really the goal here is for you to ask yourself, where in life do you operate out of cravings versus convictions? Now let me define this a little bit. I'll actually give you guys a little bit of the backstory here. My family and I have been seeing a counselor. We've actually seen a number of counselors over the years, kind of on and off type of thing. And I recommend everybody sees a counselor on a somewhat regular basis, just because it's great to just get somebody's opinion about how you think about life, how things are going, get that insight. There's a lot of us that are doing retrospective or introspective type of work, but we need that external guidance as well. And so anyhow, talking to John, and one of the things John says that I thought was just so good, and I wanted to share with you guys. He says that kids, for the most part, the childlike brain is driven by cravings. That makes them take action. And the cravings are so strong that a lot of times they do things that they don't want to do. For example, they eat more than they probably should eat. Not really a big deal when you're a kid a lot of times. They make stupid decisions. You know, they decide to do what feels good now. So not doing homework and staying out late, that kind of stuff. Whereas the adult mind operates based on convictions. And these convictions are really rooted in our philosophy, our worldview, our belief system. So what is it that we actually think is of the greater importance, right? And so as adults, we operate in this sort of worldview of, okay, I know I want to sleep in, but I also have to go to work, and you know, I got to pay the bills. I don't really crave paying the bills, and I don't crave getting up, but I know I need to do this because my convictions tell me it's the right thing to do. So that's how we operate as adults. But there are still areas where the kid in us kind of rules, and where we still operate out of cravings. So my question to you today is, where are you operating out of cravings? Now for me, for a number of years, it would be with food. That was a big one. Not so much these days, but early in my 20s, I really big time operated out of cravings. And that would be, very, plain and obvious craving that a guy would have. Well, I think part of this is how I grew up. So growing up, I was in the country. We didn't have a lot of money. When we went out to eat, it was kind of a special deal. So usually a special occasion of some kind. It was a birthday. It was a celebration of something, or we were out of town. But it didn't happen that often. It was generally fast food. I can probably count on a handful of times, the number of times that my family and my mom and I went out anyhow. And we certainly have gone out more than that as an entire family. But I didn't always have the opportunity to just eat whatever I wanted to eat when I want to eat. Whereas now, as an adult and with my kids, we eat out quite a bit. Now our eating out looks a lot different. We'll go to Whole Foods and eat off the buffet there, that kind of stuff. We'll go to a place called Luna's Living Kitchen here in Charlotte. It's like a vegetarian type of place. It's actually really good. And there are a couple of other restaurants, but we kind of do it. We kind of do it up. We don't usually we never go just get like crap, cheap food. But anyhow, backing up a little bit. So growing up, I didn't have the opportunity to go out to eat. And when I did, it was a special occasion. When I got to be in my 20s, I started to make my own money. And it wasn't long before I was making more money than I think any adult did in my family. And I think along with that came this thought. I ought to be able to eat out whenever I want. And I did. I mean, I pretty much went out to eat every day. There was, and this was not good food. This wasn't like going to Whole Foods and getting a bunch of veggies or something like that. This was just going to the buffet and gorging myself. This was Shomar's, which is like a greasy spoon kind of place here in the Charlotte area. In the morning, maybe some Bojangles, another local place, for some chicken and biscuits or something like that. And, you know, and then something in for lunch, and then whatever for the afternoon. And look, this was a waste of money. I didn't have this money to spend, but it was something that I looked forward to every day. And we would actually come into work, eating breakfast, like gorging ourselves on a breakfast of some kind, me and a couple of guys, and then talk about where we're going to go for lunch. I mean, it was crazy. And I ballooned up to about 235 pounds, and I'm at about 175 right now, but I just gained a ton of weight. And it was hard to give it up, guys. It was hard to give it up. One day, I saw a picture of myself in a sweater, and I was so freaking fat. And I thought, how did this happen? Have I really gotten that big? Anyhow, that goes into like the whole weight loss story. Maybe I'll share that with you one day. But I began to kind of think about, what are my convictions? Now, I didn't word it like that, but I knew that if I kept going the route I was going to end up with diabetes. I was going to end up just this fat guy, funny fat guy that was really just disappointed in who he had become. But that was my craving, guys. And my convictions kind of brought me back. And my convictions were, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy who can run around, that can play with his kids, that has energy at the end of the day, that looks forward to things that are more than just food. I mean, when we used to go out on vacation, one of the biggest things, and this didn't happen often, but whenever we would go as a family someplace, one of the biggest things I looked forward to was just eating food down there. And I'd plan ahead, like all the different restaurants and where we were going to eat and all that kind of stuff. And I made food really an idol. And I big time operated out of that craving. Well, it took a long time to grow out of that. And to get to the place where my convictions around what food is for really had to take over. And so I had to kind of kill the kid in me in that sense and really retrain my mind and get my convictions right. Now, my convictions now are, food is there for my nourishment. Food is, it's tasty. It's to be enjoyed. Treats are okay every once in a while. But, man, if I'm going to have something that's special, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it up. And I'm going to go to a nice place, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to have my family there or a friend there. And I'm not going to just have something just to have it. And I'm not going to make food the thing that I look forward to in the day, because there's so much more out there. I mean, I don't want to look forward to the thing that's just going to end up being a turd at some point. Let's be honest. It's a waste of money, and it's just a sad life. And so my convictions kick in. My convictions kick in when I have to think about whether I'm going to spend more time at work, which I have a fun time doing, or I'm going to go home and spend time with my family. My convictions kick in when Sunday rolls around, and I know that I need a day of rest. I know that my family needs some quiet time. I know that I need to get off the phone and away from the computer and all the noise. Am I going to honor that? Or am I just going to kind of continue working because that's what I crave? I crave working a lot of times. My convictions kick in the morning when I need to go hit the gym. And I said that I was going to the night before, and I went to bed all full of enthusiasm to do so, but I woke up not really wanting to move at all. And so my convictions had to kick in. What kind of man do I want to be? Do I want to be the guy that goes through the rest of the day shaking his head, wishing that he'd gotten up on time? So guys, where do your convictions kick in? And where are you fighting against your cravings? That's my question for you guys today. So look, I hope this is helpful. I really enjoyed doing these Truck Talk Thursdays with you. Give me your feedback. A great place to do this would be over in the Wolf and Iron community. That's our free Facebook group. That's wolfandiron.com/the group, and that'll slingshot you over there. Throw this question out there. What are your convictions and what are your cravings? What are you struggling with? And I guarantee you that the caliber of responses that you're going to get over there are going to be so high. You're just going to be so impressed and so happy to be part of that group of men. All right, fellas, that's all I got for you today. Talk to you later.